greatest day interviews? I was always an artist. My mom's an artist, a fine artist. My grandmother's a fashion designer. And so I knew that I was going to be doing something creative with my career. And I actually was wandering the hallways of the art building at my university and just happened to sit next to the design kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I should be doing. And I took design classes and realized I was pretty good at it. So I was like, that's what led me here. So it literally was me kind of being a lost little artist, not figuring out what the thing was going to be. And I found it at school. So I do branding and creative direction for businesses or people that need to define or redefine their messages, basically. So you have a new business, you have an existing business that has a brand, or you have an existing business that has a really bad brand. You come to me to rebrand it, both visually and strategically, and put that brand on, implement it, better word, on all mediums. So whether that's your logo, your website, your social media, videos, photography, all that jazz.
What's your process when you meet with the people? Explain your process on that.
Okay. So I meet with them and I talk to them about what they've been doing with their brand, if they have one. If they don't, what they want to do with it. And I get to the core of like their values, their message, what they want to do every day with their business or their brand. So, a lot of people go into like this process and they don't really have a vision of what they want that to look like in 5 years. And I always want to know that because I want to create those messages and those visuals to match that vision for themselves, right? So, and I do a strategy session which gets to the heart of why they're doing what they're doing and how to communicate that to people. And then I start doing the fun work, which is coming up with designs. So generally that starts with logo and branding, look and feel. So branding, it's kind of a big word. It means a lot of stuff. But when I say it, it means like, what is the visual look and feel? What is the tone of the writing? And make sure that's appropriate for what they're doing in their audience. So I do a lot of questions, creative stuff in the beginning with brainstorming, and then start generating ideas and show those to people and see what they're responding to. And then go through that process. And then, we implement that into websites, print work, their concept for their photo shoots and their video shoots. And then we create it all and put it out there.
Your work is really clean looking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a person's reflected in their work? And if so, what aspects of your design is reflected in your personality or?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I've never been asked that question that way. I do think, I'm very clean. No. I do. So I really have always been the type of person who, I think visual noise is distracting. And, I have sort of a minimalist way I like to live with, I don't like a lot of clutter. And I feel like visual eye candy, design eye candy is really distracting. And it's a way of, tricking things out, making things look cool just for the sake of doing that. And there's no reason behind it, right? There's a great quote, I wish I could think of it right now, but by one of my favorite designers, Saul Bass. And he said, I can't even say it right, I'm going to screw it up. And when, it's really hard to design a simple thing. It's harder than just throwing a bunch of stuff on a page, right? And so in order to do that, you have to have a reason for doing it. You just don't do it just to do it. So that's what my work basically says, that this has been thought out and this is put here for a reason. It's all purposeful. So there's not a lot of eye candy to it, and it's very to the point, because especially these days with so much shit coming at us all the time, there's just like, I mean, I'm distracted right now by my phone. You know what I mean? So it's like you definitely need to get to the point to get to it quickly, especially with social media, because people aren't paying attention anymore. So that's where that comes from. But I think I don't know. It's an interesting question about my personality. I'm going to think about that. But I do think it definitely has something to do with the way I like to see my space. I don't like a lot of stuff everywhere.
But are there colors that you gravitate to in your work? Are there designs that you specifically gravitate to?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because I'm actually trying to break away from that lately. I have always sort of had, that's what started my color is what started my interest in design to begin with, because I've always loved it. And I've had a knack for putting color together without, there's design theory behind everything, right? But I sort of had that knowledge without even having my design theory classes yet. Like, color just sort of came to me. So I've always really loved my knack with color, but then lately I've been trying to put color together that I wouldn't normally put together, because I feel like, just like I said with the last question, it's like everything is done already. So it's like, what can we do that's new and different now? What can we put out there that's, not what you've seen before? When I was a painter, it was super abstract and super colorful. So it's an interesting thing, but I have tried to challenge myself lately to break out of the rules and see what happens with that. I love what I do, and I talk about it all the time with people. Like, I don't meet a lot of people that love what they do every day, and I set out to do this on my own because I love clients. And when you're a creative, sometimes you're taken away from the clients because they don't want you talking to them. The account execs at agencies and, people like that are the ones dealing with the clients. But I always wanted to be, because I love people. So and I love being in contact with the person who makes the decisions on what that looks like. So for me, it was a decision to get to work with the people I want to, and there's a lot of trade-off with that, and it's hard. Business development's hard. I'm always on, so there are challenges, but I love my work.
What is a highlight piece that you've done, or a project that's given you joy?
Okay, so I have a really amazing colleague and friend, Tony Purry, who I've worked with for a long time, and she created a book called My High Book. And she and I were so synced during that project. It's a self-help book. It's a way for people to kind of, who've been sort of down in their career and their lives, to kind of pull themselves out of that on their own with this book. And it's very visual and it's very beautiful. And she spent the money to get it produced properly. And we did her photo shoot, her video shoot, and the website. And I had, total creative freedom, because she trusted me because she knew me so well. And we just really did a remarkable job on this project. And it's one of my favorite of all time, because it was one of my favorite people I worked with, and also just the ability to be able to kind of do what I wanted with it, with her direction, of course, because it's her project. But that was probably one of the most rewarding projects that I've had.
And what can you do for people who have a social media, who want to increase their brand, who maybe can't hire you to do an entire package for them? Is there something that you can do for just social media participants?
Yes, actually. I do strategy sessions for social where, because, social, especially Instagram, is all about the visual, right? And so people sometimes just have a complete mess when you go to their profile. So for me to create, I can create, pretty inexpensive strategy and be like, okay, here's 3 months worth of posts. You give them topics, you give them image ideas, you help them with hashtag creation and stuff like that. So I can do little packages for people like that, just to amp up their visual of their social. Because it's literally all about the visuals generally. When you look at an Instagram profile, there are so many other strategies going into it. And also, people don't understand the power of Instagram stories. They're huge right now. It's all everything. That's what's, creating a lot of engagement. So I think actually having a strategy behind what you're going to post on your stories too. So cut to the content, which is another favorite client of mine. He is an agency that helps businesses create content. So any sort of content you need, you can reach out to him and he will align you with the right resources for that content. So I did his branding this past year, and we just got the best feedback I've ever received, from people on that brand. So cut to the content. Tony Purry, Curate Apothecary, Skinful Laser Tattoo Removal, and Poorhouse Wine Bar in downtown Los Angeles.
If you like what you saw, follow, like, subscribe, and if there's someone that you want me to interview, leave their name in the comments below. I'll see what I can do.